recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So thank you for this hearing. I think it's important we talk about these issues. My question is directed at Mr. Doug Holtz-Eakin. Earlier this year, the government-sponsored enterprises, GSEs, announced their plans for equitable housing finance at the direction of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. The plans call for lower down payments requirements and reduced mortgage insurance costs for prospective minority homeowners, among many other things. Many other changes disregarding considerations of risk and ability to pay. And increasing home ownership by encouraging riskier mortgages is exactly what led to the 2008 financial collapse, which actually disproportionately hurt the minority homeowners it was intending to help. Yet it seems we've learned nothing. Moreover, FHFA Director Sandra Thompson has refused to finalize a proposed rule that would have subjected these concerning changes to review and public comment. This administration, frankly, has a habit of circumventing traditional rulemaking process, from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, making substantial changes to its examination manual, to the Department of Veteran Affairs issuing an interim final rule allowing for taxpayer-funded abortions in violation of federal law. So, Mr. Holtz-Eakin, can you explain the dangers of the GSE's equitable housing finance plans and why changes of this significance should be subject to public scrutiny?
Well, I mentioned the rule that you brought up in my written testimony. It is important if the GSEs are going to roll out new products that they be subject to review, and I think it'd be good to finalize that rule. Historically, this is the kind of slippery slope that got the GSEs into trouble and ultimately put them into conservatorship and put the taxpayers at such risk. These are highly risky loans. That they are riskier than they otherwise would be, because they couldn't get the conventional treatment, so they need special treatment to get them a loan. And they're more likely to, as a result, have financial problems down the line, and for the taxpayer to be on the hook for the cost. And tragically, we have in fact seen the disproportionate impact on minority communities that these efforts had. I mean, I was in the Bush administration early 2000s when there was an enormous push for minority home ownership, and with the benefit of hindsight, all we did was wipe out the net worth of millions of families, and that was not a wise thing to do. And so I'm concerned about this initiative, not because it is in and of itself so large, but it's indicative of the kinds of things that might be pursued going forward.
Well, thank you. And again, I really worry this will harm the minority homeowners that it's intended to help. And again, my friends on the other side of the aisle, I know, are trying to help. I'm trying to help. We all have good intentions, but it's not the intentions, it's the policies and the effects that we need to look at. And you don't want to do something, as well intended as it might be, that has the opposite effect, which is what seems to happen with a lot of these policies. What we should do is encourage, savings and living within your means, both as a country, United States of America, and as individuals and families. We already know how reckless spending policies were a leading cause of this inflation crisis we're in now. And I can tell you, as a Cuban American myself, I believe that increasing minority home ownership is a worthwhile goal. My mother fled communist Cuba, where the government offers no freedoms and dictates every aspect of people's lives. The United States, a free market economy, welcomed her with open arms, as they do other immigrants. The solution to America's housing affordability challenges is to reduce government spending and regulation in the housing market. We should instead advance free market policies that increase opportunities for all Americans, regardless of race, ethnicity, or religion. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Lawson, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and especially